and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all these, welcome to episode of Tatami Talk. My name is Juan. Just your partner, Anthony. It's a judo podcast for judo players by two judo players. So, Anthony, how am I doing?
Yeah. So how are you doing? Why are you still in Japan?
And I just got used to life out here. I decided I'm going to stay in Japan. So,
Are you becoming a uchideshi?
So as we talked about last episode, I was going to go to Japan on a holiday for 10 days. Well, happens, and I've been out here for more than 10 days.
2 weeks. A little over 2 weeks now.
Yeah, a little over 2 weeks now and stuff. I've been in Japan.
Living the life. I'm jealous.
Living the life, dude. I have not been on a holiday for I've only been on a holiday maybe 4 days of this trip so far. I've been doing a lot of like I told you, I've gotten very familiar with the Japanese bureaucracy. All right.
Yeah, for those who don't know, Juan's wife is Japanese, so they're probably handling some paperwork. But
yeah. So I've done a little walking, done tons of walking in here.
This is why you don't see fat Japanese people, because they walk everywhere.
I've seen some fat Japanese.
Oh, that's because of the American diet. American diet. But I'm saying obesity is not much of a problem there because they walk everywhere.
I see some big boys. I see some big girls. All right, brother.
Because people always ask me why I lose like 15 to 20 pounds every time I go to Japan and come back. And I'm like, well, one, I don't have access to the gym. Two, protein's much more expensive there. And then three, you walk around and train. So
yeah. So seriously, I've only been able to train maybe 3 days the entire trip I've been out here. Just done a little walking. I went to the Kodokan one day with old friends of mine, Moss and Yusan.
Yeah. What day did you go?
We went on. We went on a Wednesday.
But that was the hard night.
No. It's not the good night to go because everyone goes train upstairs in the main hall because that's when all the
business, the corporate
business people,
the
corporate team comes. Some international players come. You want to go play hard, you go upstairs and play hard.
Oh, so they divided it because it used to be downstairs. Now they make them go upstairs.
Now they're upstairs in the main hall. Okay. And we were downstairs in the smaller building, one of the smaller rooms and stuff, with just like regular people and stuff. And nobody wanted to play with me. I only messed around with Yusan. I only messed around with Moss and stuff.
I had the same experience. I told you that, right?
Well, here's the thing. Okay. So Yusan was like, people are going to play with you. They're going to mess around with you. I'm like, why? Because this is my first time going there. I had to wear this red sash and run my normal black belt.
Wait, they made you wear a red sash?
Yeah, they made me wear a red sash.
They didn't make me do that. Huh.
That showed that was my first time going there.
Okay. I think it's because we talked about this, how there were problems with etiquettes and stuff like that. Maybe. Unspoken rules. So maybe that was they decided to do that to be like, oh, that guy doesn't know any of this shit. So
yeah, he's a newbie. So pretty much only one. There was a foreigner that showed up later. I want to say he was maybe Middle Eastern or something. I can't remember I remember what the guy told me his name was, but I don't believe that's his name. I think he was maybe messing with me, so I don't want to say what his name was.
Okay,
it was really funny. But he was a big boy. The guy had to be like, he was definitely plus 100 kilos. But he was the only one that wanted to go with me. None of the other Japanese. Yeah. There was one other foreign kid that was a white belt that I liked going with Moss and Yusan. But yeah, no one wanted to play with me. I had the red sash on and everything. And Yusan was like, oh, they're going to go after you, Juan. They're going to go after you. It's like, no one did. No, they looked at us. They looked at me side-eyed and stuff.
No, they avoid you because they don't want to get hurt. Like I understand now. Like you don't want to get hurt. You don't know whether they're going super hard. And I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was cool. Like the head instructor came over to me. He told me about the etiquette stuff. The only thing that was different is that wasn't like a formal bow in. The bow out wasn't like everybody lined up. It was like in saves and stuff, but it wasn't super like everybody lined up according to rank and stuff.
Yeah.
It was just
don't take too long.
Yeah. What's your rank? What's your rank? What's your rank? Yeah. But the interesting thing was that when you do want to start Uchikon with somebody or Tachiwaza or Randori, you go to the edge, Seiza bow together.
Yeah, that's why I told you. Yeah.
Yeah. So then you go in the middle of the mat, then you bow again, then you guys fight. Then when you're done, you bow in the middle of the mat, go back to the edge. Seiza bow, and then you're done. So it was cool. I really didn't learn anything because they weren't teaching class because they were not supposed to be like a
Randori. Yeah.
So it was kind of cool. It was just cool to go there. I wanted to go the other night, but it happens again like always. So I've only
Did you
gotten
go
to
to the Did you go to the Kusakura store like I told you?
No, I didn't go to Kusakura store. I know you want me to go there, but I didn't.
Okay.
I would.
They have a lot of little keychains and stuff. I thought you'd like it, even if you don't buy gi. So
I didn't have enough time. That night it was go train, and we had to go to dinner and stuff. That's another thing that's been about a lot out here. Big lunch, big dinner. Juan not working out. Juan feeling fat. All right.
I had the opposite experience. I told you, like for me, the portions are smaller, and I'm walking a lot and training, and there's not enough protein in the diet. So
Well, these people just keep feeding me. Their goal is to either kill me by feeding me or kill me by getting me drunk. They just keep getting me this stuff.
I think it's different when you have family there, right? So,
So the only other day I got to train so far, well, real martial art training was I think it was 2 or 3 days later. I think it was the Thursday. It was the next night actually. Yeah, I went to Snake Pit, which is cool. You know, it wasn't a lot of hard grappling. It was a lot of technique stuff. It was a lot of wrist escapes, wrist grabs, arm drag.
Well, I was looking at the photos you took. Everyone there looks kind of old. So,
well, I got stuck with the younger kid, the kid that was in the white in the photo.
Yeah.
I think he's maybe the instructor's son or something, and he only spoke pretty decent English.
Yeah.
So I got stuck with him. So we did the wrist escape stuff, and we did some standing drills from referee's position, and then we did a takedown drills. We stood up, and the goal was to get the person down on the ground onto their back or fully flat. So it was kind of cool doing that. The kid was strong though, and the kid would not give up. One interesting thing, because I went with one other guy, and as soon as I went with him, the instructor was like, no, you stay with him. And I was like, all right.
They just probably didn't trust you.
No, not they didn't trust me. It's just like, I don't know. I have good technique. I'm nice. I don't beat people up. I'm going to take you down.
I think they just didn't trust you. It's like that guy Gene gotta
reel him in.
Yeah.
So one interesting thing is that in America, when we do referee's position and you can catch and stuff, I have no problem being palms down, fingers out. And they're very big on when you're on referee's position, you got to like make a fist. So you're on the like making fists or like a puppy dog hand or something. I don't know how you call this stuff. Like your fingers are inside. Because his
tiger paw.
Like, tiger paw. His thing was
actually in Chinese martial art is panther. This is panther.
Panther style. So his thing was that old days, one, they'll smash your fingers, or one, they'll just grab your fingers and pull them back. I'm like, that is cheating, sir. That is not allowed anymore, sir. Old school. Oh, finger grab. And I'm like, okay, dude, fingers inside. I don't know how you guys fight here. All right. Other than that, I had one really good workout in the gym. One day I did like the bike and weights and the treadmill for like an hour and a half. I just had to do something. Last night I was supposed to go to Kodokan with Moss, but it happened again. I was supposed to go to this boxing gym today, this kickboxing gym I was invited to today by a family friend. And I don't know if I'm going to get to go to it after all. Who knows? Because I'm spending so much time in
the government office, City Hall.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can tell you where all the city halls are in Tokyo for the most part. All right. So it's been a fun trip. Like I've been able to do some stuff during the day, do some stuff at night, like going on little adventures. I've been posting about where I've been going and stuff. Lately, I was doing a lot of temple stuff. The first week, it was a lot of like doing city things. Funny thing as hell. I think it was, was it Shinjuku or was it Tower or something like that?
Kabukicho. The new one. Yes.
Yeah. So I was over there in that area. Over in that area and stuff. And
I avoid that area. I just remember it wasn't always like that. It actually where was it? Roppongi, I think it was like that. And where a lot of people were soliciting, basically, trying to scam you, basically, getting you to pay for overpriced drinks and hold you hostage, basically. But Kabukicho, when I went many years ago, wasn't as bad. And then with the reopening of Japan, like the tourism boom, like it just became, I'm like, what is going on here? And there's a lot of tourists, and these guys just keep coming up to us, and it's like, you guys want to see titties? You want to see titties? The only way to get them to leave us alone was like, now we're into dicks, man. Like,
dude, I got dicks too, dude. I got some dicks over here. That was the funny thing.
He was just like, what? It just like didn't follow us afterwards. So
no, the funny thing that there were guys like trying to be like come inside over here, and some girls like and the funniest thing, okay, so you see these women in little cutie outfits and stuff. because it's so cold out, right? Because I guess February is like the coldest
shaking.
time in Japan.
Yeah.
They're shaking. Some are like freezing shaking. I feel so bad for them. And some are just wearing these huge ass puffy coats. They look like snowmen and stuff.
Yeah.
The worst one I saw were these two dudes. I guess it was a guy bar or something, like the pretty boy bars, you know? So these two dudes are out there.
Host clubs.
One dude is shirtless. The other dude's wearing like this string tank top and stuff. And they're wearing just jeans or shorts. They weren't shorts, just jeans and stuff. And I'm like, I feel bad for those dudes. I feel so bad for those dudes. I don't know what they did that their boss like, you two, outside, you shirt off.
It's probably they probably take turns, honestly, but
yeah. But I heard a guy told him like, "Are you guys cold?" And they were like, "Hi." But they had these tiny signs. Like, you know what? I think they'll get more business if they had those big American signs and stuff with the arrows pointing in.
You can just start twisting them, and because it's so tight there, just knock people in the face,
hitting people and shit. So that's been my trip to Japan so far. It's been interesting, to say the least. I'm gonna try to get some
here. We miss you here, so yeah.
No one misses me. No one cares that I'm gone.
Sheila actually says she misses your class. So.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's funny. The sad thing is that because of all this shit, I had to cancel my no-gi class.
Yeah.
And I was like, can I make it in time? Well, maybe if I leave early, maybe if I do so, maybe if I get there the day before, but then jet lag. So I was like, you want to know what? Just play it safe, cancel class.
Just cancel.
And I got a lot of messages from, I actually was surprised I got quite a few messages from people being like, oh, I hope everything's okay. I'm sad your class is canceled. Like, it's okay. We'll do it next month. All right. Next month, we'll be back.
I don't know. I'd rather get stuck in Japan than at the DMV here. I'd rather get into Japanese City Hall than the Torrance DMV here.
I don't know, man. They're both pretty bad in my opinion because there's places where I can't get in because I'm an American, so they won't let me get past the gate and stuff.
Yeah.
And I try sneaking, and juke and jive. I will say this: I do.
That's how you get deported.
Oh, send me back to America. My bad. Send me back to California. But yeah, so it's been a cool trip so far. So that's been my trip. Sorry to bother everybody with it and stuff. That's why I'm still here. That's why you see Tokyo Skytree behind me and stuff. That's why I'm still wearing my little onsen outfit. I'm really getting used to it. I'm gonna buy. I might wear one around town. You know, get back to LA.
I want to buy one. I just can't find one that fits me.
Dude, me too, man. Me too. I'm trying to find something that's my size. Like I bought a jumpsuit at the New Japan store. A warm up outfit. Dude, I got a 3X that would fit me. Okay.
Oof.
3X.
Yep. I need a
feeling fat.
When I go to the yukatas and wear the yukatas in the ryokans, they have to give me a 4X. 4LLLL. But I can't take those. Yeah, I can't take them home. And it's funny because for the ones that don't have any, it makes it look like I'm wearing like a mini dress. A mini dress. It's like, it goes up to my thighs and I'm just like walking down with my slippers that are too small for me.
Too sexy for you. Look at my legs. Look at 6 legs right here.
Yeah. So yeah, on my end, I just came back from seeing my surgeon this morning. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but my knee popped during training and then it felt better and went to train again and it popped again. And this time it wouldn't pop back in place. And my BJJ professor actually had to pull my ankle and pop it back. So I've been just playing it safe. And the surgeon said, well, it looks like it's the IT band. He said it's snapping over. It's getting caught basically. So he told me basically to stop playing butterfly guard. I can't play butterfly guard anymore. And I need to avoid training until I get an MRI to make sure it's not the meniscus or something like that. So there goes whatever plan I had for competing, at least for Golden State, probably no nationals. So my hip is like on fire right now. So he gave me some prescription anti-inflammatory medication, which I'm not supposed to have. They didn't say no alcohol, but they say no caffeine. So I'm drinking Monster right now. So I haven't taken the anti-inflammatory yet. So
they're talking about the time when I was on all my meds and I went drinking on accident because I totally forgot about it. Totally out off the wall. I was lit that night, apparently. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, so I'm planning on taking it later tonight. But I'm just glad it's not going to... it's not going to require surgery most likely, but I'm just going to have to change the way I train. Yeah, so less Newaza. At this point, I'm just like, what in Newaza can I still do? I can't do Delahiva. I can't do butterfly, so I can do kind of a half guard and close guard, and yeah, I don't know. I can't do single leg X. So I don't know. Should I even still keep training BJJ at this point? But yeah, that's the small update on my end.
It would be you definitely have to take a break from BJJ. That's the whole thing. You have to just be safe.
I've been taking a break. It's just I go like once every 2 months.
No, not to get the thing straightened out. You should be going.
Yeah. Let's see. So I got a few good comments on Substack. A lot of people actually said it helped them. For those who sent me feedback, really appreciate it. I want to hear like critical feedback too. Like if it's like not helpful or you wish you saw something, then let me know. Also, I really wanted to showcase how this method can transition into doing randori in just like a few classes. And we did this last class. Like for part 4, I've been working on the part 4 of the Academy series, which includes like examples of people who learned going through this system. We did this last class and I thought I was recording, but my phone fell down. So I didn't record anything. I was oh my God. So
He has an audio episode.
So I don't know if I'm going to include that part. You're just going to have to take my word for it that these people can do like randori after a few classes. So, but I'm going to try again next class. It depends on who shows up. Then we might do the randori again. But otherwise, I'm just going to post it as is without that clip and just add an extra saying, just going to take my word. You have to take my word for it. So, yeah, and we did get a comment on the Nomad Wrestling that I shared with you, which is a negative comment. And I'm assuming this guy, he didn't say so, but I assume he probably saw the Unsafe series and then got interested in the podcast and decided to listen. And he just so happened to listen to that episode and he didn't like it. So the comment was, I had high hopes for this podcast, but you two are so boring. Stop moaning about jiu-jitsu guys doing jiu-jitsu shows. If you want something else, put your money where your mouth is. So number one, if he listened to our other episodes, he would know that we host the in-house tournament and the upcoming one is going to have the rules that we're talking about.
Yeah. We're going to add some weight grabbing stuff.
We're going to add some, like, we're not doing the IGF, exactly the IGF rules for that. And then number two, I didn't know that Nomad Wrestling is a jiu-jitsu show.
I thought it was supposed to be
I thought it's like
open grappling, all these martial arts wearing gis, which I will say this about that show too. So I finally finished the entire series. They finally put out their thing. So in the end of the tournament, for first place, it was MMA grappling versus BJJ. For a third and fourth place was BJJ versus was it freestyle wrestling? It's freestyle wrestling.
Well, we also didn't talk about it in an episode, but you told me in the dojo, like each round was the rules were different as it progressed.
Yeah, it changed a little bit. Once it got to the third round, it was like who got the first takedown or who first got the big throw. It was like really weird.
So after you told me that, I was like, oh, okay, that sounds more interesting, right? Because there's an equalizer, but why does it start off like I feel like they shouldn't wear the same. They should all wear the same uniform. Is what I thought.
And that was the thing I was going to bring up, was that when it got to the finals, both BJJ guys were getting the gi used against them. Like one guy got his like gi pulled all the way around his hand, so his hand was like almost like his hand was inside his gi, the gi being pulled, so he can't do anything. So both BJJ guys by the third round took off their gi tops and were pretty much doing like no gi jiu-jitsu.
So there's no uniform requirement, right? Which is why we're talking about how the rules were kind of weird. But I don't want to redo that episode, but basically, I just think this guy's really salty. Like usually I take criticism well, but I'm just like, there's so many. The main part is there's so many tournaments and grappling rule sets out there that right now where the big money is that's catering to that. I'm just like, let us have this one thing. Let us have this one thing that's, I guess you could argue Sambo has pins, but I just thought it would have been interesting to have something that's pin. But
so did I.
I didn't. I'm just saying personally, I don't care about watching tournaments that don't have pins. That's just me. But I mean, if you don't like it, then you don't have to watch it or listen to it. But I get it. Like, if you're really into jiu-jitsu, and I looked it up, this guy's a BJJ black belt in UK, I think. But if you're really into jiu-jitsu, it could be boring hearing someone basically say they're not interested in your sport, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like someone bitching at me about judo.
Guys, well, it's like when jiu-jitsu guys, when I talk to them, I tell them, like, there's no greater feeling than holding a man down for 20 seconds and he can't get up. And he's looking at me like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, there's something of, like, controlling a person is it's been since around the time, okay? And holding about judo thing, like a controlled pin is that in battle, if I hold you down for 20 seconds, most likely someone would have came and helped me out and stabbed you, or I would have pulled out a knife or a dagger or something. I would have stabbed you or used something against you. The same thing in wrestling, holding a person down for 3 seconds is controlling them. It's just an old school grappling thing, and people know how I feel about it. But
I mean, also, I see it from a different context. It's kind of like I'm trying to word it nicely, but if this one small thing stopped you from listening to the podcast, when I feel I'm tuning our own horn here, but there's so much other rich information out there for you, then you're missing out a lot. It's so much easier for you to just like turn off the episode and listen to another episode or something, right? Because there are other podcasts out there where they say things that I know is completely wrong or are misguided or I don't like, and I just skip the episode. But I still listen to it because they give a lot of good information, like BJJ mental models, right? They make a lot of wrong statements about judo in that podcast, but they interview all these great guests. They talk about a lot of interesting concepts where if I was just like, oh, these guys said something bad or wrong about judo, so I'm just going to stop listening to them, then I wouldn't have got those information from them. Same thing with Shintaro. Like, in one of the recent videos, he made it incorrect. He talked about Peak and Malcolm Gladwell, and it was totally wrong, like misquoted. And I tried to leave a comment to correct it, but then it blocked me for some reason. I think it's because I try to provide sources for my claims saying that he's wrong, but I guess it got caught in the filter, so it didn't work. So at that point it was like a 2-paragraph thing. I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'm not gonna. I don't want to type it up again. But luckily, I think someone else corrected him in the comments. So. But again, if it's like every time Shintaro says something I don't like, I just stop listening to him, then I wouldn't like get a lot of information, right? But that's kind of like the world we live in now. It's just people can't disagree. Like, it's just like, oh, you said this one thing I don't like, so I'm never ever going to listen to the rest of the things that you say, So, that's just my thought on it. There's other podcasts I listen out there where they, again, very commonly make wrong assumptions about judo. So, but the other stuff they say is good. So I still listen to them. And if I hear something I don't like, I just fast forward or I skip the next episode.
There was a podcast years ago on this thing. I'm not going to call out who it was, but literally there was a BJJ guy, and he was like came up on YouTube feed, and he was like the something of grappling and just whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But basically, he was saying that judo never had Newaza. Newaza wasn't invented until the Gracies created it. And there was no triangles. This is all the Gracies created everything. No arm bars. They had pins and a little bit of control, but like all the submissions were invented by the Gracies. The Japanese never did that. And I was like, no. There's books from the 1800s and before that showing arm bars and triangles and.
Well, the Gracies had a time machine, and then they also invented that, and also traveled back in time to write these books. We're
getting heat for this, Anthony. We're getting some heat for this.
We're going to get more comments.
We can't talk too much. We can't talk too much bad about the Gracies or have to come after us. All right.
But I get it. But it's different when a podcast is generally good and then they just say something a couple of things that you don't like versus a podcast that consistently. I'm not going to name which podcast, but there are channels and podcasts out there just consistently churns out like bullshit, right? So that's completely different and understandable. But
and we try not to put out bullshit. Everything we do is usually we get facts behind it.
I try to, or I'll say I'm not sure, but Yeah, I still listen to Shintaro. I still listen to BJJ Mental Models. I still listen to Stephen Kesting's podcast. Yeah, there's a lot of good podcasts out there with good information, even though some of the stuff is wrong, but it's fine.
All right.
Especially the eco stuff. The last thing, especially the eco stuff.
All right.
I'll just leave it off at that.
I don't want to be like we're complaining too much. We're complaining too much. All right. Yeah. Last thing.
I'll probably cut out some of the parts, so it's fine. We can complain all we want and then cut it down to like an acceptable level. Yeah.
So, at time of recording last night, around I don't know what time it was, Anthony sent me a message. I'm like, Juan, I can't believe what just happened. I'm like, what? What happened? I'm crying. I don't know if I can live. I don't know if I can go on. I might quit judo. I'm like, why, Anthony? Why are you gonna quit judo? Maruyama retired. I'm like, what? Mario who? Who's that? I never heard of this guy before. That
never happened, but I could. That was what I was thinking, except for the quitting judo part. But yes, I was really upset. So
Anthony's boy, Maruyama. I can't say his full name because
Maruyama Joshiro.
Yeah, I can't say that. You know. So Maruyama was a two-time world champion. Mostly known for me and Anthony talking shit to each other because he didn't go to the Olympics, even though he was world champion because he lost to Abe.
Two-time world champion, 2 times silver medalist in world championship, multi-time Grand Slam silver and gold medalist, so in Grand Prix, so world master champion.
Especially like you have a tattooed, have it all tattooed right here, all those championships. So Anthony, how do you feel about him retiring? He was only 31 years old too. You think he's
only? I mean, for a lightweight, that's pretty old, right? And also
4 years from now would be 34, 35.
Yeah, but
trying to go to LA.
He had a I heard he got another knee injury, and then when he came back, he lost. So I guess he never fully. I'm assuming he never really fully recovered from the second knee injury. Yeah. So it makes sense because that was the first time he lost in 8 years to someone other than Abe. And
I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah, and he's probably not getting faster. People are starting to figure out his game, so I understand. But yeah, it's a shame because I didn't want people on Reddit were talking about it, and obviously the Abe versus Maruyama thing gets brought up again, and I don't want to get into the discourse, but some people said he was robbed. I don't think he was robbed. That's not the right term. Yeah, I don't think he was robbed, but it did seem unfair just because of how they handled the match, you know, because people are like, that's the closest thing to an Olympic final we're going to see. I'm like, no, like that's farthest thing from an Olympic final we'll see because of the hundreds of Shidos that happened. But yeah, it is what it is. It's a shame, but I still think he made a name for himself. I do hope that people like 30 years from now will still remember his name, unlike like everyone always remembers like the first place guy but not the second place guy, right? So hopefully his Uchimata is so powerful that it'll last the ages and test of time, basically.
I think he'll be known by a certain amount of people because he's a 2-time world champion. That's a hard accomplishment. Just be a 1-time world champion is hard. I think 2-time he'll be remembered.
Okay, name who the 2017 world champion for the 66 kilo was.
I can't. I'm using my phone to make a video right now with you, so I can't look it up.
Exactly. Like people don't remember world champions; they just remember Olympic champions. Even though world champions hard to win, but yeah. So it's kind of sad, but but it's not just him. Bunch of like Ryosuke Haga retired. Who else retired? There was another guy that retired. I thought about it. I mean, Takato retired not recently, but after the Olympics. Yeah, a bunch of people retired. So it's just like the new generation's coming up, and we're just going to start seeing it.
And we're going to talk about that with our next subject right now. So we were talking about last episode that we were going to watch the Paris Grand Slam, and just because of the way it worked out, we're also going to talk about the Azerbaijan Baku Grand Slam, the Oni Baku Grand Slam. So it was very interesting. So these are the first 2 tournaments that really went through that went through that actually used the new rule sets. Okay, the new Shido rule sets, the new time limits, the new Newaza, just all the new rules. So I'm just gonna go over just some highlights over the tournament so far. So Paris Grand Slam, which was in my opinion, kind of weird, was a 2-day tournament this year. Paris Grand Slam, one of the biggest tournaments of the year, top tournaments of the year, was only 2 days. So overall, France took first place with 15 medals, right? Japan took second place with 11 medals, and South Korea took third place with 3 medals. That's a huge gap right there. 15, 11, and 3. Yeah. There was another country that took actually more medals than Korea. I can't remember which country it was. I think they took like 4
was
or
Canada?
Something. I don't remember like that. I had to write down scribble notes because I'm using everything on my phone right now. But there's another country got more medals, but I think there were less because they didn't get a gold.
You're talking about Paris, right?
Yeah, Paris Grand Slam.
I could look it up.
Right. Yeah. So that was the Paris Grand Slam. The Baku that just happened was weird because it was a 3-day tournament. Like most of these tournaments, like especially Grand Slam, are 3-day tournaments. I expect that, you know. So it was just weird to me that France was 2-day, but Baku was a 3-day. So just more people showed up or whatnot. So in first place was Japan, and Japan came out strong, man. They sent their A team to Paris. They sent like I want to say like the B and C team, but they're like the newer players. It's like you're in a new class. But Baku was like, we're saying a lot of the A players. A lot of our top tier guys are going to Baku for some reason. They came out with 17 medals, right? 17 in total, right? 10 gold medals at Baku. Yep. 10, all right? In France, they only took 3 gold medals, but in Baku, 10, motherfucker.
Well, because they sent most of their people to Paris. Well, they're not going to send them to the same people twice to Baku.
I know. That's why it's so close together. Okay, so Japan took first place with 17 medals. The next team was Germany with 4 medals. All right, you go from 17 to 4 medals, and then Azerbaijan, the host country, got 5 medals in total. So that's pretty interesting because it was just interesting to me to see who they were saying to which tournament, you know. And France, I don't think France sent anybody to because they sent all their. Even their A players, not a lot of their A players fought in the Paris Grand Slam. Some did, but not a whole lot. But I didn't think they sent anybody to Baku. I don't remember seeing anything on Baku.
Oh man, I'm trying to think that they. Yeah, I don't think they did.
Yeah, I remember seeing no one compete. I don't remember when I was looking at the medal count, seeing France up there because they would have had a higher medal count. But yeah, so it was pretty interesting. They decided to use everyone at the Paris Grand Slam and not at Baku.
Oh, they did. Baku, they did send some people. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Oh wait, no, that's Paris. Sorry. Baku. Let's see. Results draw. No, I don't see anyone. You're right. Yeah.
All right. So yeah. So they didn't send anybody to Baku. So they sent maybe some of their A players, a lot of B players they had at Paris Grand Slam. But Baku was a pretty interesting tournament. You know, it was interesting seeing everyone compete. Our Swedish friend, the one that grabbed the ref. She was back. Her suspension was over.
Babblefath.
Yeah, her suspension was over already, so she was there. I was expecting her to say, because I know she had a bad. I watched the highlights and I saw she had a call she didn't like. And I was like, oh, is she gonna grab the ref? Is she gonna grab the ref? She's gonna do something. And I guess she didn't do anything because they cut to someone else. I think maybe the cameraman or the producer is scared she's gonna do something, so they cut to another match immediately. So, what was your overall thought of the Paris Grand Slam?
I mean, I would. How do I say this? Everything I thought about the refs came true. Like I didn't have much expectations for them. Calls were inconsistent. I still have after 2 tournaments, both Paris and Baku, I still have no idea what the hell a Yuko is. Like the clear definition, right? And it's very clear. Even the refs have no idea what the Yuko definition is. I guess I'll stick to the rules. Like the enforcement of the rules were very inconsistent. The main thing is the drop seogi spamming is not. They're not stopping that.
Yeah, you would have thought that wouldn't stop, but
because if you go back to our episode talking about the rules, like if you look at what they consider a false attack now, it's like very clear what they would have to do something about that, right? But other than Yuko, nothing really changed for Paris. And what we talked about the edge playing rule, like, I know you laughed, but me and Dave talked about how people are just going to go farther outside. That happened because it used to be very rare to see the area where there's no more mat left, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that tournament, you saw it happen multiple times where the camera panned to where there's no more mat left because the athletes are starting to fight closer and closer to the edge. No one really, I think I only saw 2 athletes that was really in the final block that were really using the edge to reset the grips. So I was just like, well, these are the not all of them, but these are some of the newer guys. So maybe we'll see over time. We need a few more months for people to figure this stuff out and see, oh, that guy's doing that, so we'll do this too. So we didn't see a lot of that, but it was happening. But again, people are just fighting the edge more, especially the French. The gripping was much more interesting because they're not like stopping people every few minutes now for a Shido, every few seconds for a Shido now for the grip infringement. There was that. I'm again disappointed about just the scoring standards, and my main problem again is with the referees, which is why I stopped paying for the Judo TV before, because I'm not happy with the refereeing at all.
There was some stuff when it came to the Yukos where people, because they said in the video, like again, like that, they say this, but then they do this, and if you need to watch instant replay in super hyper slow motion to figure out if it was Yuko or Wazari or nothing, then maybe you should just throw it out. If it can't be defined by the eye immediately, then maybe it should just be thrown out, because this just complicates judo.
They just need to go back to. They just need to go back to what Yuko was. Like I said, the scoring standards were fine before 2017. They were fine. Just go back to that. Yeah. But this whatever new thing they're having is not working.
It's like, oh, he landed his side. So if his leg goes back here, his legs over here, that means that it's Yuko. But his legs are forward a little bit, his hips are forward. That means it's not. But then if another person got thrown, I saw them land straight on their side.
Yes.
No problem. Oh, no, that was no Yuko, though. I was like,
so that's a real annoying thing.
But you said it was Yuko for the last match. It was Yuko, but this match, no, it's not Yuko. Is it because the person? Is it because the nation that's fighting?
And this is the annoying thing, right? Because Neil Adams was actually saying like, oh, that's a Yuko because the knees were facing this way or that way, and that only made sense. They brought that up when it made sense, and then they didn't bring it up when it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So it was just exactly
that way. It's like I'm not saying anything.
It's exactly as I thought it would be when they announced it, because they said, oh, you can't just look at the legs, or you can't always look at the legs. The legs are a guideline. I'm like, okay, then you're going to use this rule to call things to justify. You're going to use the rule to justify your call, and when it doesn't, when it conflicts with what you want to call it, then you're not going to bring it up. So that was really frustrating.
There was one Yuko that I remember. The person's hips were forward, knees were like I think forward on the mat, but their arm shoulder, like their body, you guys can't watch video stuff, but they're okay. Yeah. They're even the body's like almost 45 to the mat, but because their arms being wrenched backwards, they're saying, oh, he's going towards the back. That's Yuko. I'm like, 99% of his body is forward.
Yeah,
but because his shoulder's being wrenched back, they're calling that a Yuko. Interesting.
Yeah. Also. What else was it? Oh, a lot of the Wazaris they called Ippon. I was just like, that's not Ippon. So, like, it's just I'm not happy with the scoring, and there's no excuse for that, right? Because I know like people like Dave are like, hey, they need time to get used to the score rule changes, but I'm like, nothing about Wazari versus Ippon got changed, so there's no excuse for messing that up, especially if they fall right in front of you. But that's why I'm not too happy with that. But the grip fighting stuff, I'm happy with. Did you want me to talk about the rules in general, or just from Paris? My impressions from Paris.
No, we're just talking about impressions. Well, I wouldn't just our impression of Paris, but we can go through the entire thing just as one whole thing.
Okay, because after I watched, because after I watched Baku, well, let's go into that now. Right after I watched Baku, I realized. I'm for sure they're not uniformly enforcing the false attack, because if you look at Tsunoda's match on the first day against Babelfath, how she drops into Tomoyanage, her usual, she's actually trying to throw people. We know she's actually trying to throw people because she does it all the time, right? and then she lifts him up and flops him over into armbar. So she's actually trying to throw Tomoe Nage, and Bobble Talk is sprawling. She's literally sprawling. And she got false attack called on her twice. Then you have Jessica Klimkate doing whatever the hell she was doing in the final, which is the false attack. And then she gets gold.
It's the funniest thing is like everyone knows she's doing false attack, but it's like the IGF's the only people that doesn't believe she's doing a false attack.
So they need to uniformly enforce that. Like, why is Tsunoda getting called false attack, but then Klimkate's not? Like, I don't know. So that's one. Number two is they talked about how Newaza is supposed to count towards activity. I don't see any. I don't see any of that.
I will say this. This is part of my notes. I did see a lot more Newaza.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I see a lot more Newaza. I saw a lot more time given to Newaza who were working for stuff. Where if someone was working, they would let them go. It wasn't immediately like, oh, they stopped for a second, now stand them up. I saw a lot more time given to Newaza and a lot more time given to getting out of certain stuff. Like if you were in like half guard or something, or in a body lock and stuff, whatever, just got your legs trapped. I saw them giving them a lot more time to try to get out of it. And because of that, there's one of my notes right here was that I saw this done quite a few times. I never thought about it before. I should have thought it before. But it was a Tatashio Gatame with butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
So people would get their legs out using like the butterfly opener and stuff.
Yeah.
But keep their legs there to keep them up like in a butterfly, like Sumigeshi almost, but in a Tatashio position, and get the pin from there. I've never seen that. I never thought about it before until I saw it. And I was like, oh, because I always thought you had to get their legs out, but they're letting people get pins from that position. I saw quite a few. But like that's something that's new, that's interesting, that I liked.
Yeah, but there was definitely a lot more Newaza. I will agree with that. But when people like Klimkate, there's a few people like Klimkate that spam drop Zoe, like Sawatoshi. They spam it, and then the other person engages in Newaza, and then they give the Shido to the person that was engaging in Newaza. So they are clearly not counting activity in Newaza.
Again, it's gonna be who the refs are. I think
this was consistent throughout the whole thing. Like it wasn't just one ref. It was like throughout the whole tournament in Baku. I noticed it. Like people spamming drops Nage, not getting called false attack for really bad drops that are halfway turned. Remember, there was a whole section on drops Nage in the referee seminar, and they said like you need to turn the whole way, right? You need to turn the whole way, and you got to bring the person off balance. So there was some that were not off balance and also not turned full way with no Shido called. And then now you have the other person attacking in Newaza, and it doesn't solve that problem of where people would spam drops in Nagi to make the other person look passive. So I thought they would address that now, but it's not. So it goes back to what we've said. We got to look at how they enforce it. It doesn't matter what they say. You have to look at what they enforce. Do you have any more?
Well, I have like a couple points of like two interesting Shidos I saw. Kind of three, but we talked about the edge play stuff. I was like, it's very interesting how they were literally letting people fight till outside the edge and stuff. And some people were, I noticed, being like, we're outside the edge already. What do you mean we're still going? It's like,
I know, this is why it's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Why like I thought that was kind of interesting. So my thing is, so one I saw that was hilarious because I saw that the Portuguese guy.
Fonesca, yeah. He ran out.
Yeah. Oh my God. And he's like, what do you mean I'm getting in trouble for running out? Dude, you were crawling on your hands and knees to get
that
out.
Happened. So that was what I wanted to say too. Like that happened multiple times.
Yeah. No, I'm saying that's why I'm bringing it up because I saw it multiple times happen. But his was the funniest because he's a funny guy.
I don't know why people aren't pushing. So they know they can go out, but they're trying to go out in the one case where it's Shido. It's like that's their coaches.
Like, they literally said you can't make it blatant. Okay, you can't like running away from the guy. Anytime if I'm winning the match by Wazadi and there's 5 seconds left and I disengage and run around the mat, guess what? I'm gonna get that Shido. Okay.
Yeah.
So what makes you think that if I'm on Newaza and I see the edge, I'm gonna start army crawling away from the person?
What I'm saying is I think it's interesting that they do that in Newaza, but no one was trying to use that strategy in stand up to reset the grips. Like it's really.
Because I think in stand-up, they have it built in their heads that they're going to get a Shido for it. They know they can get a Shido for it. And for some reason, they thought in Newaza they wouldn't. I don't know why.
It just goes to show that the coaches didn't do well. Who knows what happened? But like, because we have athletes in our dojo who don't listen to, right? Like,
yeah.
But that would
No matter
argue
how
with
many times
us.
you tell them.
That would literally argue with us how wrong we are about certain
They'll
things.
argue
But
with you.
yeah, no, all of us. But yeah. So it just shows that them or their coach did not prepare them with the new rule sets enough. So that's something.
Or maybe the coach did, but it's like in 1 year, out the other. It's like, yeah, coach, whatever. Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I'll remember this. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I'm a gold medalist. I know.
Yeah, like, oh, whatever. Yeah, I do it. Yeah. Then you get the mat and they do it like, what do you mean? What do you mean I'm getting a Shido for this?
He actually lost that match for Francesca. Yeah.
Yeah, he did lose that match.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
You want to go with your next one, or?
No, you go ahead. I'll leave mine for last.
So another one I saw was kind of funny. And this is very rare. And I saw this happen in heavyweights. And I did see some lightweights. Finger lacing. Mm-hmm. I rarely ever see finger lacing happen, and I think since it's such rarely happen, you don't notice it. But it's noticing that as soon as people are getting finger lacing, like test of strength grip, you know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so like I'm seeing guys getting like test of strength grip for, I don't know why you do that in judo anyways, makes no damn sense to me. But they're like giving immediately Shidos for that. They're like, oh, finger lacing, mate, Shido, and I was like, oh, okay. So like they don't want you grabbing the fingers like that at all. That
was always a rule. They always did it. They just never enforced it.
Yeah, so I was like, I'm glad they're enforcing now. Which I don't, like I said again, I don't understand why you would do a test of strength or finger lace in the first place. I don't really get it.
They're trying to get them to go like this, their body to move to the side. That's what they're trying to do. But yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that they're actually enforcing that rule for a change now. It's all enforced a lot. So like, okay, good. That's what we want. If it's not allowed, don't let them do it. But it got to be equal. The entire plane equal.
So
anything else? There was one other thing I want to talk about.
Go ahead. Talk about your last thing.
All right. So the last thing was, man, did you watch that women's heavyweight match with was it the French girl?
Yes.
Yeah. Was it the French girl versus the Korean girl? Was it?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, that knee. That scared the crap out of me. I was like, that's why. Like, and these heavyweights were all doing makikomi throws. Yeah. I don't know what it was, like makikomi day or something at the Paris Grand Slam. But they even at Baku, I think I saw them too. But like these heavyweights are all doing makikomis. And the way I saw her with all her winning, I was like,
that's why a lot of people don't like watching heavyweight women judo matches, because it's just makikomi spams. So
yeah, and when she put all that weight on the girl's knee, and when she pulled it, I was like, okay, she's fine. And I was like, oh no, she ain't getting up. She ain't moving. Oh man,
it just got. I mean, if you looked at the Unsafe series, also Togadi, one of the makikomis that I used the clip from Nonstop Newaza where it talked about judo injuries. And a lot of those makikomi injuries happen in heavyweight, because it shows what we talked about, the mechanic that might tear your leg with enough strength, with enough weight driven into it. It won't just tear something. It will literally make your knee bend the other way, like fully.
Yeah.
So,
dude, I can absolutely see that.
This is another thing I should have mentioned in the intro, but I got a lot of positive comments about the Osotogari on the Unsafe series, and I went to an open mat session up my friend hosted, and it's like a martial art open mat. It's not just like a grappling, right? So he wanted me to teach him some throws, so I taught him Osotogari, and I told him like, hey, these are the dangers to Osotogari. Basically everything we talked about in the YouTube video, right? 10 minutes later, he goes to striking with someone. Someone does bad Osotogari on him during striking, and now he needs knee surgery.
Why would they do an Osotogari to him during striking? We're doing Muay Thai?
Yeah, Muay Thai. Yeah.
Okay.
Muay Thai, like striking rules with takedowns, right? So, yeah, now exactly what I said. He planted the knee, the weight down on the leg, blocked his knee from the side, and pushed him over from the neck. So now he needs knee surgery. And another friend at another dojo, I'm not going to name, also Togadi broke the other guy's leg and broke his ankle. So yeah, if they watch
dude, well, be careful.
The guy who broke his leg's a black belt too.
People see these makomis and it's just like, oh, I just grab the guy and I drag him down, I block the knee and I throw him. Like, no, you have to. There's this thing in judo called kazushi. That means breaking the bounds or pulling them forward. You gotta bend that tree over a little bit to sweep it out. That's what we're supposed to do. We don't just put our weight on their knees and just break it. I had that happen to me a long time ago.
This wasn't a knee though. This was an ankle, but the point still stands, right?
Yeah. Well, that's just here. Ankle, I think, is more flexible because I rolled my ankle pretty badly, but not needing surgery and stuff. My knee, because I got bad knees. All right, I'm old man Juan right here, 42 years old. All right, I'm too old for this shit. That scares the crap out of me. That's what scared me. Like when I went that heavyweight at the Kodokan, he doesn't know me. I don't know him. I don't want to do my crazy, dangerous techniques. I tried doing Ogoshi to my Harai Goshi. I thought I was going to pull my arm out my socket when I tried to do that to him. So I was mostly just doing Sasai,
well, he's a big boy, right? You said so. That's all you could do.
That's what I do is just Sasai. I was doing some of my. I tried doing my weird Sumigeshi to him. Didn't work. No, actually, no. I did catch him with Sumigeshi a couple times. I had to try some variants, but I couldn't do my most dangerous, crazy stuff because you told me not to. And I told him afterwards, I was just trying to do some more safer stuff. I couldn't do my most crazy things. Oh, okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, yeah. The when I say he hurt his ankle, broke his ankle, I literally mean I didn't say a bone. His whole joint, his whole leg went.
Yeah.
Pop. So, and I feel like there's no excuse for a black belt to do this to a white belt. Sorry. So.
Yeah. So overall, what was your thoughts with the new IGF rules at Baku? Was there anything else you want to talk about at Baku?
Yeah, there's one more. There's one more thing at Baku. So we talked about this on Reddit because someone noticed. Well, I think it was me who noticed that in the official sport and organization rules, the official rules for IGF, one of the sections for Newaza, they added a super blurry ass photo of how these pins are not. These outside Newaza are not valid and will be mate and stand up right away. That blurry ass photo looks like the Yoko Sankaku Gatame, like the side triangle that everyone does.
Yeah.
So we're I can't tell if that is that allowed or not. And the text below it also makes it much more confusing. I'm not going to go into it in detail, but long story short, we were unsure whether the side triangle pin, the one where you do the key lock and with the triangle locked in and then you grab the leg, whether that's allowed or not. And I watched through all the matches in Paris and I saw people trying to turn people over with it, but no one actually locked it in. So maybe you can turn over but not lock the legs and you just transition into a Kamishio Gatame, right? But finally, I talked to Dr. Seonage from Reddit about it, and he helped me find a match in Baku, which is the under 48 kilos round of 16, Serbia versus Azerbaijan. That match, the Serbian girl won by that technique, like the side triangle lock, right? So that confirms it's allowed, but the rules are super freaking confusing. And also on the Judo TV, they didn't call it Yoko Sankaku Gatame, which is understandable because technically that's a Kansetsu Waza, which is an arm lock. Here they called it Kuzure Kamishio Gatame. So they classified that triangle hold, side triangle hold, as Kuzure Kamishio Gatame. So for those because someone on Reddit actually replied to my comment and said it's not allowed. I just went to a tournament and they told me I can't do that anymore. It's not allowed anymore. And I'm like, is it a local tournament? Because I don't trust the local refs. I'm sorry.
No,
I was like, no disrespect to you or your local refs, but I just don't trust them because I had a lot of wrong information told to me by local refs. And
all the time.
Yeah, so I was
because one thing it's how they interpret it, but then you show them a thing about, but here's the IGF showing it. Oh, but this is how we interpret it. We want it to be done this way. It's like that's not fair. That's not fair. This is how we want it to be done. But IGF says this.
Yeah, so I was like, unless this is an IGF event, then I don't trust it. I'm sorry. And now we're seeing at the IGF event, someone won with this pin. So this is what I'm going to go by. I don't care what it's how it doesn't matter what they write down for the rules. It's how they enforce it.
Yeah.
So
I have that video on your phone to show them. Well, see right here.
So that's the last thing I have. Overall, Not too impressed, I guess. Sorry, but I guess again the refereeing ruined it for me. There's a lot of great judo. The grip fighting. I know if you don't train judo much or don't train judo at all, and you don't understand the grip fighting, it's not interesting. But I'm really in the biggest part I saw as an improvement is definitely the grip fighting. I liked watching the grip fighting because I know how hard it is to get into some of these throwing positions, and that part I enjoyed a lot. I enjoyed the more Newaza time. I enjoy how because the more Newaza time means stalling and just praying as a tactic in turtle.
They'll pick you up.
Is less effective now. Is much less effective. Let me rephrase it. It's not much less effective, but it is less effective because more things can happen, and you can't just pray for a reset.
You're giving them more time to try something on you. You can't just be holding up, be like, oh, well, they'll stand me up in 5 seconds. No. If the guy or girl is working for something, they're like, oh, let them work, let them try, let them try to escape. That's why I kept seeing that really cool. I don't know what I'm going to call this damn pin. It's Tate Shiho with double hooks in, so it'll be like, I don't know what to call it, but just this really interesting type of shield position. I'm gonna work on it when we get back to LA. I'm gonna
show me.
Might try it on you.
Yeah,
might try it on you actually.
Well, you might pop my knee out again, but
I'll try it on Matt then.
There's also one other thing, like again, misinformation being spread through this system. Someone on Instagram who is an IJF ref who was on Instagram posting. I'm not going to say which country. It's not the USA, but an IJF ref in some Middle Eastern country showed a turnover that I teach to the beginners, the kata sankaku, like the head. It's called head and arm lock, front head and arm lock. He says if you turn someone over like that, it's hansokumake, which is not true. It's only hansokumake if they stand up and then you turn them over, because now you're throwing them in the kata sankaku position in tachiwaza. That's hansokumake. So that's again another example of why I don't trust what I hear locally. I gotta see it, how to enforce it. But if you look at the Judo TV Instagram, there's like a post from I think Paris, where a lot of people, they only highlighted one person doing this, but a lot of people tried this. Babelfoth tried it. Some of the Israeli girls tried it. I think some of the French girls tried it, where they caught someone in kata sankaku, and then to avoid being turned over, they start standing up. Because if you stand up, then now they can't turn you over because it's hansokumake, right? So they let go, and then they catch the leg. So now they're caught you in a cradle, and now they turn you over that way. So that's something I'm seeing. I noticed in the tournament that people are doing now, and I'm really interested in how people are going to adapt to it. Because when I showed it to some of my wrestling and jiu-jitsu friends, they're like, "Why didn't it do this to just get out of it?" And I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I need to ask probably Chris Round or something, because they made it sound like, oh, they need to train wrestling. It's so easy to get out of this. But I'm like, maybe in the judo context, it's different. But
well, with the gi, there's certain things where when you have a gi on and they have different grips, yes.
That's what I said. But he tried it in the gi and showed it to me on video and said it's still easy. So I'm just saying I noticed this thing, but I'm interested to see how people deal with this, because I can see this becoming,
new puzzles we were trying to figure out and things. We're gonna bring in different stuff. They're gonna try new things, and now it's be people to try to figure out how to get out of these things, how these new puzzles are gonna work. So that's the thing about
we don't see cradles often, right? Usually, so now it's becoming, because of the rules, and it just kind of shows how you change one little thing, and then it just causes like a domino effect things.
So I thought it was very interesting. I liked the tournaments. I thought there was, from me watching, I thought there was a lot more action, and then I thought there was going to be a lot less golden score. Then as I progressed, there was a lot more golden scores. I thought that was very interesting. That the lighter weights, there wasn't so much golden score. They were
well, it's always like that because as you get to the finals, it's the best of the best, right? So
yeah, of course, it's always like that. But I was saying that I was noticing, in my opinion, at first there was less golden scores. Like, okay, these rules are really working out, making more action. And I thought there was a lot more action also. A lot more Newaza action, a lot more Tachiwaza action. Not great throws. I think people are still like rusty and stuff, or just trying to get jitters out with new things.
Yeah.
But then as it progressed later, a lot more golden scores. Very surprised with that. So I thought it was working well, for a point. I still think, even with the golden scores, I think it was still with the new rule set working very well. Even with people attempting throws and keeping throws going outside the ring. So I love the more Newaza at the time. I love there was less patty kick. I was noticing also a lot less grip fighting, patty kicking around. They're getting Shields out when you patty kick too much. The finger lace thing was very interesting to me. Like, oh, they're actually enforcing that rule. Great, that's nice. So I was pleasantly surprised, in my opinion. Okay, I was happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, I also talked about. Let's talk about the commentating, because I complained about it in the past episode.
I can't, because the commentating.
Oh, you gotta pay for it.
The only stream that I could find was a Brazilian stream to watch.
Okay.
To watch Paris, and then when it comes to Baku, I watch a lot of just highlights from from a lot of people's other videos and stuff as much as I can.
So my main complaint is the misclassification of the techniques. Like, I can't remember who said it, but it was a clear uki otoshi, and they called it sumi otoshi. I'm like, how are you like high ranked black belt and not know the difference, right? So
in the moment, Anthony, it gets very frustrating and confusing. Okay?
Well, then he goes on to justify saying, "Oh, it's blah 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 otoshi because it goes to this corner." I'm like, yeah, that's the definition of sumi otoshi.
I put it out there and I get offended, even though I know I'm wrong. All right.
So that's one. Two, there was the app was really annoying because they had two mats going, and they kind of fixed this in Paris because they have one stream where it would like skip to what happens in a different mat. Like if someone's fixing their belt or they're bleeding or something, they say, "Oh, this just happened on this mat." So they kind of fixed that in Paris, so they're improving. Not in Paris, in Baku, but in Paris it was like they had two streams going, and then I had to jump between the two because sometimes there would be like nothing happening and it's just silent. You can see in the background there's like people fighting in the back. I'm like, okay, now I gotta swap to that stream, and then after that stream's done, I go back, but I didn't save where I was watching previously. So it's like really, really annoying. That part was so annoying. So
well, you know what's annoying is that I know I'm a cheap bastard and I'm like paying for Judo TV, so I can't watch the stream later. That's why thing I found out this time. After what I can only watch it live.
I think they should just like have a live stream that's not commentated of each mat, just how they did it on YouTube, right? YouTube had like mat 1, mat 2, mat 3, mat 4. Like they had those streams, and then you have a commentated stream, right? You have a commentated stream, and the commentated stream would just talk about whatever match is happening at the time, or you can have two commentated stream. And another option they can do is just have a delayed commentated stream, so they pull out what happened already. That's like the best of the best, and then they do that. But I don't know. It's just I'm just talking about options there. But as someone who's trying to watch every single match, it was really annoying jumping between the two. So I ended up just going back on YouTube and watching some of these other people's highlights, basically, because I was so frustrated.
I was so lucky to find this Brazilian streamer, right? That was really cool when I found it. The thing that sucked that they had the Paris no problem, but the Baku they didn't put up. They put up highlights from Baku, but not the whole thing. I was like, damn it.
Yeah, because imagine I'm not sitting on my computer watching with two monitors, which I am, right? Imagine I was cooking or I was like doing work and I had it play in the background. All of a sudden now it's all silent. I'm just, what happened? Oh, I gotta swap the stream. I gotta swap the stream, and now I gotta like stop what I'm doing, swap the stream, and then now it's silent. Oh, I gotta swap the stream back to this one, right? Or I watch the whole thing and skip through the silent parts, and then go back and rewatch it from the beginning, and then I get spoiled at that point, right? Because I had probably watched the finals or the last repechage or whatever. Now I go back to the first stream and watch it from the beginning again. So maybe I'm watching it wrong. Let me know in the comments or send me a message if you're like, oh, all you have to do is do this and it solves the problem. Then I'm just stupid because I am really busy right now, so it's been really hard to watch the stuff to watch the stuff for the podcast, basically.
Yeah. And this is our normal thing. We do we watch for ourselves and stuff, but we're just doing the whole talking about just because this is the new rules. It's kind of cool that they had two tournaments pretty much really close to each other to discuss how the new rules look, who's going out there, what's the next generation doing, how's the old guard looking. That's what we're talking about today. So normally we just do this for fun, but when it becomes work, it becomes much harder. especially when you're trying to find time to watch all these videos and trying to watch them on a bullet train.
Yeah, I just again $100 a year for that kind of experience.
So
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, man.
It's not worth it, dude.
If they fix one thing, like either the watching experience or the referee experience, that I would be down. Like just fix one of those two. Fix one of those two.
No, fix one of those two. And just try to lower the price a little bit, okay? A little bit lower the price.
Hey, you drop if you don't have, you can pay per event, and if you take the cost for the year and break it down to how many tournaments there are in a year, it's not that bad.
Don't try to sell
I'm
this
just
on
saying.
me. Don't try to
I'm just saying. This is like talking to my friends back.
Can we do a tax write-off? Say this is for our business.
No, I feel like I'm talking. Well, if we start an LLC, we can. But this feels like back in the day when I was trying to talk my friends into playing like Final Fantasy 14 or World of Warcraft or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And then they're like, I'm not paying for a subscription fee. I'm like, dude, you just dropped $200 on that free to play MMO on some useless skin, versus in a free to subscription one, it's $15 or $13 a month. You break it, divide it by 30, it's like less than $2 a day. Like,
oh no!
So,
if you divide it by minute, it's only 2 cents a minute you play.
if you play every day, yeah. If you only play once a week, then why even play it? But I'm just like, it kind of feels like that because people are like, oh, $100 is so much. I'm like, divide it by whatever amount of events you're watching. If it's still too much, then just pay per event. So, but if the experience, this experience is going to be that bad, well, for me it was pretty bad. But
yeah,
then,
no, I get it. All right. So with that, Anthony, is there anything else you want to talk about before we sign off?
Nope, that's it.
All right. So please go into Substack. Anthony puts a lot of work in that Substack. Yeah. Please go on. Okay. Please get him feedback too. Good feedback, bad feedback. He loves feedback. We love all feedback. See, we talked about it today in this episode. Feedback.
Yeah, there's only going to be 2 more parts coming out. Part 4. After this, after the 19th, I'll decide if I post it or not with or without the Rondori footage. And then there's one more part wrapping up. And after that, I don't know what I'm going to put behind the subscription wall. Again, it's free, even though it says paid subscription. You need the paid subscription to watch it, but the paid subscription is free. After that, I don't know what to talk about. So maybe I'll come up with something, or maybe it'll just be really maybe I'll have a series about very unpopular opinions. Like I don't know, stuff that I've been trying not to say in public, though I think is kind of close to what Hanpan TV has been saying, if for those who know. But I could do that, or whatever you guys want. Like I could talk more about my understanding of eco, even though I'm not an expert. So yeah, we can do that. Let me know, and that's it. So, and hopefully Juan's back from Japan soon before next episode.
Well, hopefully by the time this episode comes out, I'll be on a flight to America. But let's see what happens, you know. And if you're in the Tokyo area, all right, I'm hanging out by the Ryogokuken all the time, all right. Hit me up. Let me come to your dojo and train with me, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
So, with that, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me, the Jerry_1 on Instagram. You follow Anthony Throws on Instagram. You can follow Tatami Talk on Instagram. You can also follow us on YouTube at Tatami Talk. You can follow us on Threads at Tatami Talk. You want to send us any videos, things you want us to go over, things you want us to look at, questions about anything, hit us up at tatamitalk@gmail.com. Anthony, is there anything I'm forgetting?
Nope.
Okay. We don't have an X. We don't have a Blue Sky. And what's the new Blue Sky's version of Instagram? We're not on that yet either, okay? But we'll see. We'll see when it comes out, all right?
All right.
So, with that, please don't forget to
slap the mats in Japan too.